everyone, today I'll be reviewing this highly anticipated movie on Netflix. It's called Blondie and it is starring Ana de Armas. And this movie is directed by Andrew Dominic, which I never heard of him before. But this movie, many people were hoping Ana de Armas will get Oscar nomination. Before I go to my review about this movie, what do I think about this movie? I want to say this. Whatever I think about this movie, I thought Ana de Armas, her performance in this movie as Marilyn Monroe and the script she was giving, like based on that, her performance was really good. Really, when you watch this movie, her voice and her accent, she really worked hard for this movie. You feel for her. Unfortunately, this movie script is so awful. You have to see to believe how awful this movie is. This movie is a fictional. Like when I was reading about it, it's not based on, it's not really based on true story. It's fictional stories still, it's based on this book. And I don't know anything about Marilyn Monroe in her real life, how she was. But I was looking at some of this Wikipedia picture and looked like she was in real life. Maybe she was like this, because in this movie, when you watch it, it's so many amount of time. Ana de Armas, she is naked in this movie. She is just naked. She's just sitting there staring at herself naked in this movie. And you're like, oh my God. I get it. It was intentionally, this movie was shot like that. There's no point for her like that. I get it. Maybe she was Marilyn Monroe. She maybe was like that in real life. But why you are showing me in this movie? Why you are showing me this? Isn't it movie supposed to be like you show people better version of it? It is, after all, Hollywood version of this Marilyn Monroe biographic we are watching here. But unfortunately, this director, he really chose this movie to tell this way. When I was watching it, not once I thought I was watching Marilyn Monroe's life. I felt like I was watching Ana de Armas, who is actually she did made her name in Hollywood very quickly. I really felt like I was watching her life here. Because she is also her life is parallel to Marilyn Monroe's life in so many ways. If you have seen her other movies, and you know what I'm talking about. Although Ana de Armas, she isn't from here. She isn't from Hollywood. She came from I think Europe. So in Europe, getting naked in front of the camera, this amount of time is no big deal. But here in Hollywood, it is big deal. And the way this movie was portrayed her, you feel like you are watching a horror story. How Game of Thrones is a horse. Is really bad. I don't get it. Why he chose to, this director, Andrew Dominic, why he chose to tell this story this way? I don't get it, really. It's really disappointing, especially when you look at this movie. It is very beautifully photographed. Some of the scene, looks so amazing, and the cinematography, it looks really good. It looks so good. This movie is actually very beautiful looking movie, but unfortunately the script and the dialogue, everything is so bad. It's really bad. You have to see to believe it, how bad this movie is. Although some people are saying, that's how Marilyn Monroe, she was in real life. Maybe she was, even she was. You cannot show her like this, because end of the day, some people do look up to her, you know what I mean? Then again, maybe that's how she was in real life. But I don't need to see that in movies, This woman, she's dead. So she died so long ago. Why we're watching this, this movie, showing us that she was a mentally unstable person, then why they are disrespecting her like that? That is, I guess, the biggest gripe with me, gripe for me with this movie. Maybe she did made her name like that, you know what I mean? Maybe she was like this in real life, So many actors, they make their name like this in Hollywood. Hollywood is very hard to place, and this movie took place in 1930. Back then, it was like that probably. Who knows? The only one scene I will say in this movie, I felt realistic when her husband, the one was the who was the a player, I guess, he said to her, like, why you are flashing your private part in the public like that? That was us audience telling her, like, why you are doing this? And again, so many actors out there are like that, they do make their name like this. So this is not something extra out of like ordinary you are watching. If I look back and think about Margot Robbie, she once when I first saw her, she was like this. So many actors, they do start their life like that. But unfortunately, this is 2023. People will not like accept this movie, but I do imagine this movie will be a huge hit on Netflix. I really thought this movie was truly, it was very, like, it didn't make any sense. That is what I will say about it. Although it does try to recreate many of these things. There's another documentary about Marilyn Monroe on Netflix. I don't know why Netflix hate Marilyn Monroe. That is what I think, and that is my thought on this movie. Let me know in the comment, what do you think about this movie? And if you enjoyed this review, don't forget my other reviews on other Netflix movie. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe. Until I see you next time, please take care.